Hello everyone, it's Artistry Designs. Today we are working on the Starry Night Sky that I spoke about in the last video. For this one we're using basically the same materials. You're going to need your canvas, your water, your paint palette to put your paints on, your brushes, and your paints. So, for today's video, we're using several different colors rather than just the colors we used in the last one. Today we're going to make a galaxy night sky, so we're going to be using purple, blue, black and white, and just a touch of green and yellow. Can't really see those, but just a touch of green and yellow. So, what we're going to do is we're going to start with our first 4 primary colors, and you're just going to put, just like I said, about a quarter's worth of those onto your paint palettes. If we can just get this out. If you're like me, your paints are kind of running low, but we use every last bit that we can. Definitely time to make a stop to Walmart or Hobby Lobby. Just a good bit of each of these paints. Now for your green and yellow, you're not going to use that much, so if you just want maybe a couple drops just to preserve your paints, that would be a good idea. We really don't need a lot of them, but they're just going to be going into our details for this one. Okay, to start with, like we did last time, we're going to take our flat brush, the one that's pretty thick, can get a good bit of coverage on your palette. This time we're doing a galaxy night sky, so we're going to do a very similar tactic to what we did with our other painting for that sky, but instead we're going to use blues and purples and a little bit of white and black. So, we're going to start with our blue paint, and we're just going to start by getting a good cover of it at the top initially. Just about this area here. Just keep on dabbing on that paint. Mine's mixing with the white a bit, but that's okay. We're going to keep doing that, and we're going to make sure we cover our edges. Until we have a nice base, just straight, kind of at the upper middle part of our palette, or our canvas. Now, what you're going to want to do, once you have about this area of your canvas covered, is you're going to want to, let me slide mine up so you can see. You're going to want to make a fresh coat up here towards the top, so it's nice and wet. And then we're going to take just a bit of black, just dip your brush in it, just barely. And we're going to go along this top white part where we haven't put any paint yet. Just going to go straight across. Straight across. So now what you're going to do is you're going to do that technique we did where you're just going to brush back and forth like this. And you're going to start in the black and you're just going to gently blend that into your blue. Not too much pressure, just gently kind of just back and forth just on the edge in between the two paints. Really blending those two colors together. You want to see more dark blue than black up there at the top. So we're really trying to bring more blue into the black than the other way around. we're just going to keep doing that back and forth till you get a color that you're pretty comfortable with. Really get those edges in there. And just blend that out into the blue paint that you had set aside. It's okay if it's a little splotchy. This is a galaxy sky after all. So now, we have this really nice dark color fading into the blue. So, we're going to take a bit more of our blue now, and we're going to just cover our brush in it. Both sides of our brush, just really cover it in the blue. And we're going to start back down here where we left off. And you're going to see that that darker color is kind of mixing in down here now from where we left it on our brush. If you had too much paint on your brush, you might want to wipe that off. But we're just really trying to get a good blend of these colors in, light and dark, because the night sky is not just one solid color going in or out. It's kind of a mixture of both. If you feel like you have too much dark, go ahead and just take a clean swatch of blue. You can go back up into it, kind of just experiment swatching it in different ways until you have something that you are pretty happy and comfortable with. And you're just going to keep working at that with your blues and mixing it into that area so that you have a good twisty feeling of both colors. So now we have this, and we're going to do what we did last time. We're going to get a bit of our blue, and we're going to make a nice fresh layer right down here of blue paint. And then we're going to get our white and get a good dip in your white. And you're going to start right under that blue. Just with the black, we're going to do a line. You might have to dip twice. We're going to do a line of white just straight across. And just with that, except going up this time, we're going to mix into the blue. So we're just kind of fading up into our blue. Not trying to go too harsh. We're just mixing up into that blue. If yours is starting to look a little too bright, just go back and dip your blue in. I'm going to have to get more blue. You might too, because this is a very blue inclusive painting. If it's looking just a bit too bright, go ahead and dip your blue back in and just start where it's looking too bright and just kind of try to fade that in pretty good. Whoops. Just try to get a good fade on your blue. Might take a couple more swatches. That's okay. We're just really fading that in. Nothing too harsh. Just going back and forth. Getting 3 different shades of blue in. The dark blue, the regular blue, and the lighter blue. Now we have this nice gradient. I think I'm going to take just a bit more white and come down here and mix into this part. Because I'd like to have mine just a bit lighter at the bottom. It's totally up to your preference. Once you get it to a good spot, then you can stop. Just whatever you like. So now we have this nice, really pretty gradient blue color all across our canvas. It's nice and even, and we have it going straight down from top dark going into a lighter, but with mixes of colors in between. So once you get to a place you feel like you're comfortable with that, then we're going to do something a little out of the ordinary, and it might make you feel uncomfortable at first, but it will work out. So we're going to create like a Milky Way looking thing right in the middle of our painting. So we're going to take a bit of white, and we're just going to start somewhere, and kind of similar to what we did with the clouds, we're just going to kind of like really just dab that paint in and just spread it all around. And you're just going to kind of just constantly do quick hinted little jabs. We're just making a space in the middle of our painting that looks just like this cloudy kind of blob. through the middle of our painting. You can make it go off to the side some. We're just kind of smoothing it out until it looks like it blends in well with the edges. Really smoothing that in. We're just creating this light spectrum in the middle of our painting. And what this essentially represents is just a nice little like galaxy looking feeling. Just blending it right in. You got this nice little galaxy looking Milky Way shape just in the middle of your sky. If you feel like you need to, you can take a little bit more white and just kind of go through the middle of the shape you've created. Really helps make it pop. Just straight through the middle, creating yourself some sort of like blob. Just straight around here. Now, we're going to take a bit of our blue and we're just going to kind of go around the edges of what you've created there. Blending in and out of the edges. Just really to accent this shape that we've created in the middle of our sky. You can go into it a bit if you like. Make it look more natural. Just really going to accent this little shape. Right through the middle of our sky. I'm going to wash my brush a bit. And I'm just going to dry it off just to get a nice fresh start because we've been mixing a lot of colors there. Now that you've washed your brush and dried it, we are going to, got a little bit of stuff sticking up on here. We're going to start adding in some of our other colors that really make the night sky. So, what we have here, we have our nice gradient sky with our white cloudish looking thing in the middle. That'll look better once we start adding stars and stuff. So now what we're going to do is a similar method to this, but we're going to take just a bit more of our blue. And we're just going to create sort of like wet spots. Just a little shape. Nothing too crazy. Of a wet spot. And we're going to take a dab of purple. And we're going to add it to that wet spot. And it blends it in. And you can just kind of make it fade in and out. Going side to side with the edge of your brush. We're going to do that in several different little spots just across wherever you would like to add some purple. So create a wet spot right here. And then I'm going to take just a dab of my purple. And I'm just going to blend it in there. And just kind of create this side to side feeling. You don't want to add too much purple. But we're going to create that little side to side feeling where it's mixing in just the most tiny amount of purple, but it really surprisingly makes the galaxy feeling pop. So just keep doing that until you feel like you have a good amount of purple wherever you might want it. if you want to go just a little heavier, you can. This is what it'll look like. It'll pop just a bit more. And you just kind of blend it in with that side-to-side motion. Bring it out a bit if you like. Go in, bring it out. We're just going to keep doing that, just in random spots along the edge. If you want to try the middle, you can. It's your painting. And we have this nice hue of mixed colors. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a unique